fearless and thorough
Let's do
searching
it.
it.
Hey, Tony, good to see you again. We haven't done one of these in a while. So
Yeah, we took a little holiday break. Good to be back.
that's all right. A little more. We did a fall break too. So
we do it when we can.
we can, but it's good. We just got out of a great meeting and here to talk a little step 4 today, huh?
Step 4,
Holy
the one
cow.
that scares everybody.
Gosh, why is it so scary?
Because they have to dig in the dirt. You know, when you dig in the dirt, you're gonna get mud.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. And if you're not ready for it and you're not okay with it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Now, I see people, they rush 6 months in and they're going to do their 4-step. Really? Are
Yeah.
you really going to make a thorough moral inventory or just
Yeah.
a cursory one?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I was well over a year and a half sober before I could actually do a real 4-step.
I did a quick one. I did a light one.
Exactly.
Looking back, it was very light. And it was like checkbox, people that I injured,
Yeah.
or so I thought.
Yeah,
and it
but
was
no
quick.
definition of what you did.
No.
Oh, this guy's on my list, or like a bucket list.
It was like going to the Catholic Church. It was like I went into a priest.
Yeah. Forgive
And
me, Father, for I've sinned.
And my first sponsor, and I went in, okay, priest, here it is. We're done, right? And it was fine, right? But it was not thorough.
Right. Well, and I think that even the cursory one, people start to realize, wow, I've got a lot to own up to.
Yeah.
And this isn't about, to me anyway, the 4-step is not about making you feel bad. It's cleansing and keeping your side of the street clean, admitting to yourself, first of all, that the things you've done.
Yeah.
Because we have a great filter that says, I really didn't do anything. It was all these other people. And the
Yeah.
longer we go, the more the filter puts us as innocent and everybody else
Isn't
is
it the
guilty.
truth? Yeah.
And then in sobriety, as that lens opens up, you're like, well, that was really me. That was me. And you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And some people can be okay with that in 6 months, but most people it takes a while.
Yeah. No, agreed. Well, and I think it's teeing up too. It's not even what I did. It's what happened to me, and then how did I react to it. And you know, the 4 is only it's only a piece of paper. You know,
Right.
I haven't even talked to somebody about it yet.
Right, I'm just writing it down.
I'm writing it down, and I think that is, and we heard it today, which is great. Writing it down slows everything down,
Takes the power out.
and suddenly it's like, okay, anxiety, like
Yeah.
you say it, hear it, speak it on paper. Okay, now I can kind of work with it. Where
I can deal with it.
how jacked up I was when I got in here. I wasn't calmed down for 5 seconds.
Well, I wasn't willing to admit either. I didn't come in here going, wow, I'm humble and I want to admit all of my wrongs. I came in here going, the rest of the world sucks.
Yeah.
You're all stupid. And I can't believe I'm in this place with you losers.
Yeah. Well, look at the world. Look what you did to me. Look what you made me do.
Exactly.
Right?
You made me do this.
You made me do this.
I had to take your car and sell it in Vegas. You made me.
Yeah.
I look back now at the first time I was asked to do a 4-step, and just thinking about it, and then you're alone and you're writing this down and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, there's this. Oh, but then there was this. And then, should I put these in here? And these aren't things you're proud of. These aren't your gold star moments.
Yeah. Well, it's a moral inventory, and I don't like that word. It stirs up all kinds of connotation.
Yeah.
You know, newly sober, moral. Like, you know, back to what we're saying. It's like it's just, you know, I had I didn't have a choice. That's what I think about in that early time. I didn't have a choice. I had to do it.
I had no choice. I had no choice but to make the wrong choice.
Correct.
Right? I was forced into this decision to let you down.
You cut me off the road. I had a moral obligation to shoot your tires out.
That's right. You made me stay at the bar. You pissed me off. I had to have 3 more drinks. It's just the way it is. It wasn't me.
And I love how it talks about institutions too, right? It's like it's marriage, it's the jail, it's a thing.
Right.
Write that down, right? Isn't that deep? Where they know how deep we got to go.
Yeah. And I think once you start doing that and writing it down by yourself, I think is the best way for you to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And then, as we'll talk next week about 5, is how willing are you to share that with another human being? And this is where sponsorship to me is key.
Yeah.
If you don't have a strong sponsor who's done this and knows what to say and understands anonymity, and you have to have trust.
It's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that we had the same sponsor for years. I did my 4-step, 5-step with him, and I know nobody else heard about that. And that's the whole idea, right? It's that priest-penitent thing, the attorney-client privilege thing. You have to know that whatever you're going to share, because it's dark, you're going to stay there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it comes out of the darkness. I mean, I think that's the beauty. when you do it, the darkness doesn't seem so bad.
That's right.
And when I've shared it or explained it, or they understand my position, why I did that thing, through a good sponsor, a good friend in AA, it becomes really clear. And it's like, it's not so much you're this evil person or those actions were so bad, because it's all been done before.
That's right. Well, this is why I think the more time you have in the program listening to others, and then you go, wow, I'm not the worst human in the world. Actually,
know,
I'm not
yeah.
too bad.
Yeah.
Because this guy, listen to this guy, listen to this girl.
Yeah,
They're really
it's
screwed
awful.
up. And it makes it easier for you to let go of those things that you think were so terrible.
Yeah,
Because you can't move forward carrying 200 pounds of baggage.
yeah,
You have to let it go.
yeah.
And I think the other problem I see people with when I work with them, they want to have a balance. I did this much bad, I have to do this much good. There's no scales in this.
No.
If you're alive, you win.
Well, I think people get off track. I think, and myself included too. It's like other things in life suddenly become more important than the main goal of what we're doing is sobriety.
Yeah.
You know, number one must be sobriety. Everything else is gravy.
Right.
And if I start, like you said, balancing the scales, and then I'm doing some complex maneuver, no, babe, sobriety. We want sobriety, and we
Keep
want
it
you to be
simple.
comfortable. That other stuff will iron itself out.
That's right.
Like
I know
and
you don't know that.
and you don't know
but it will.
and you don't. And I think what's the gravitas is another drunk talking to another drunk can share that trust.
Right.
We can't get in a book.
No.
You know, you can read it and you're like, okay, this is written different.
Yeah, but I'm not going to believe you unless I know you've walked through what I'm going
Yeah,
through.
exactly. And I will share that over time and my feelings, and then suddenly my guard comes down, and I'm able to finally become a person and walk around. You know, I told you one of my cousins is going through a thing, and I asked him to do a thing, financial thing, and he shared it with me, and then he goes, and I said, well, have you done more? And he goes, no, I don't trust anybody. And I was just like,
That's a hell of a way
I
to
think
live.
that is really another gift to sobriety. I get to trust people today
Yeah.
because now I've learned, you know, you can't hurt me anymore. I used to allow you to hurt me with information, and now you can't hurt me anymore because of this beautiful.
Well, I think the other thing is we make better choices to people in our lives. I don't know about you, but as I get older, I'm so drama adverse. If you're the center of a hurricane, you got to blow somewhere else. I can't have
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And I don't care who you are. You could be my sister.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, it's hard to fire friends, but you have to.
There's a limit. Well, I think there's a limit. You know, I think there's a boundary. You can listen to a little bit of the hurricane. You know, I got a couple people like that in my life, a little hurricaney, but I kind of go, well, you got 2 more minutes. You know, like, and they realize it too. If I'm able to honestly communicate, you are just blowing off steam. I'm here for that. I think I had it. Think about how needy you
Oh,
were.
yeah.
Did you need to be heard?
Oh, yeah.
Did you-
Repeatedly. I love that girl today who said, I was getting on the freeway, there's a cop, and I know he's coming for me.
Isn't that amazing?
And I remember being told, you're not that important. Nobody cares about you.
No.
And
Yeah.
I think when you can get through the fourth step of realizing I'm not that bad,
Right.
whatever I've done, hey, it's done. I can move on from it. And then as we get further down, when you make amends, to me, when I started to make amends to all the people that I had wronged,
Yeah.
and a lot of them told me where to go and how to get there, I had no problem with that because I realized my side of the street is
Yeah.
clean. What you do, I can't control.
Correct.
All I can do is sincerely say, hey, I owe you this amends. I really screwed up. I see that now, and I can't make it right.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I can't give back whatever
No.
you think I should. I can only tell you I'm sorry.
Back to that scale balance you're talking about.
There is no balance. There is no scale.
Yeah.
You have to let go of the guilt and get on with your life.
Why is this step so important to long-term sobriety?
Oh, I think the biggest reason is it relieves you of the baggage of self. When you come in carrying these rocks of all the bad things you've done and you have a low self-esteem, you don't trust, you can't love, you're angry, and then you realize, wait, I can drop this right here and
Yeah.
step forward without this weight, then the happy, joyous, and free begins. It really doesn't begin until you can let go of your past.
It's true.
I mean, your past, my past, we both know how checkered it was. If I had to sit there and think, what do I need to do to make this even? I couldn't stay sober with that.
No.
What I have to do is say, I have to be the best me I can be today and help others not make the mistakes I've made and shorten their learning curve is the way that I give back.
Isn't that great? Well, and I think of it too, like long-term sobriety. I don't have to add more baggage. I don't have to
Ever.
add more of that stuff. And if I do as a normal person, do mistakes and do errors and moral misjudgments, I can identify them because I'm clear now on where my motive is, and I could make a change, and I don't have to get into trouble.
Right, and
like
I
I did
own it
before.
immediately.
And I don't need to have a cocktail to make me relax because that's what I do before. I didn't do this and I didn't do that. I needed a drink to release
The pressure.
the pain, the pressure I was adding to my head.
You know, we all make mistakes every day. What I can do today is go to somebody and say, hey, that was my bad. I really screwed that up.
Yeah.
And know that I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I did one last week. A kid, I did a thing, and I felt terrible about it because when I did it, when he confronted me, and then I thought about it later. I go, I'm having a flashback in 1997, and there was a dude doing that same thing, and it hurt my feelings. But I didn't. It's like I want to be better, I guess. You know, I would have been more like, oh, tough up, kid, and all that. No, I want to be more loving and kindness.
Right.
Attraction, not promotion. I want to be what is in the real material. I'm like promoting. If I'm doing that kind of macho, old-timery kind of stuff, and I get it's being kind of hard, but it's not that loving. You're starting to sound like a promoter.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and I don't want to be a promoter. I want to be love and kindness. That's the real strength.
And how can I live a program of forgiveness and honesty if I'm not doing that?
Yeah.
I don't want to shove it down your throat.
No.
I want you to want to have
My
it.
Dr. Phil all of a sudden?
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing like with this kid. I saw him today, and we were talking about calling old people. And I said, when you mean old, I think you mean old in years, right? Years of age or years in time? He says, both. And I said, and you're wondering why we're happy to take your call? He goes, yeah. I said, we've been where you are, and somebody answered the phone for us. And we're grateful that I'm able to answer the phone. I'm not in the ground or locked up, and I can answer your phone and take your call, and I can actually talk to you about something that I've been through.
Isn't that great? And over that building of that trust allows you to do a 4 and eventually a 5. Because only through that repeated trust building, after you've done the 4th, then inventory is written out, cause, condition, I'm now able to do a 5.
Right.
And then I can sit with you and trust you, and I know you.
Right.
And I build confidence that you're not going to, whatever this I think is so bad, it'll be private.
Right.
I
think the writing of the 4th step, what I tell my kids when I'm sponsoring them is, go ahead and take a shot at this and let it sit for 2 weeks. Keep writing about other stuff. Then go back to your list and see if there's anything you want to add. Give it another 2 weeks, see if there's anything you want to add. Next month, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And you'll see that at the beginning, there's 94 surface things. And then the second time, there's 30 kind of deep. And then there's 4 or 5 that we're really getting to where we need to go.
Yeah, that's right.
And what I tell them is it's not a race. I came in going, how do I get to step 12 and get through this thing?
Understandable. You want to be first place, right?
Yeah,
The fastest,
I'm here.
biggest.
How do we get to step 12?
You're in the race car.
I was sitting for a test recently for the IRS, and they give you 60 days on this test, and I did it in 3. And the guy's like, "This is kind of some kind of record." And I said, "I just wanted to take it and get through all this."
So funny.
He goes, "You must have studied a lot." I go, "I don't like to finish second."
See, that's the good part of that energy of
that's
who
taking
you
the
are.
good- yeah, instead of going the other way.
Where the other way,
Yeah, where's my 17th drink? I want to be first. Oh, you're late to the party. I'm already 10 drinks in, baby.
yeah, you're the IRS. Boom, done, bitch. Let's take the next test.
Oh, it's so funny.
It's hilarious.
I just know that in the 4th step and into the 5th, if done correctly, can change your life.
Absolutely, me too.
Because I came in, literally, I was pulled into this program because I had nowhere else to go, but it took me a minute because I was dragging 500 pounds of crap with me.
Yeah.
And in a year and a half, I was 500 pounds lighter.
Isn't that great?
And I've never put anything else in my sack.
Yeah.
And that's the great part. You never have to refill it.
Yeah.
Because you can say immediately, oh, I didn't even see that. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I was helping. I didn't know I was hurting.
Yeah.
We all have the best intentions, and sometimes they come out wrong. Or we all make decisions based on what we think is the right information that isn't.
Right.
It happens.
And
But
now
you
you're
own it.
getting clarity of thought. And I think it allows, once you've done a 1, 2, and 3, you're now in a position to, if I make a mistake or I have cloudy thinking, I trust that I can be corrected. And it's going to be like the right correction. Like, I know I'm going in the right path, and it allows me the freedom to make those mistakes or do a half measure. Well, maybe do it again, write a little bit more, and I trust this process now.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, they just don't trust. Because I mean, you and I have both heard some really, really rough stuff, and only until it gets shared exactly the same exact scenario does it dissipate.
Right. Well, I look at the people we heard today and some of the things they're going through. One lady, wrestled 11 years with one resentment.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
How can you do that? To me, it'd be like, well, maybe I'm too willful for that, but I can't give you that much power. 11 years of power in sobriety.
Yeah.
So somewhere along the line, the steps were missed to where you turn your will and your life over to God, because there are things that happen in my life that I'm totally powerless over, that I go, God, this is on you.
I know.
I
Well, it
can't,
hurts, and
yeah.
it hurts. Well, and I think it's getting used to feeling that pain of like, kind of, I'm in the wrong, or like I did a thing, and it's like I have to admit that there's no shame in this. Like I don't know if I told you, we were watching over the Christmas break. I was watching the Jim Carrey Scrooge movie and or the Grinch movie, and it was funny. I really enjoyed it, right? But there's a part when the Grinch, and she shows up, and she's like, "Hey, I'm just come to see you."
Yeah.
And he's just like, he goes, "I'm feeling."
Yeah, exactly.
And he's crying and and I felt like that was such an alcoholic moment.
It
of
was.
Like, I'm finally a person again. And like that allows you to, in a safe environment, to have those feelings and not be alone, brings me back to humanity.
I could never understand when I was new in sobriety, had people come up to me and hug me.
Yeah, right?
What are you doing? Who are you? Why would you hug me? Why are you
Yeah.
happy to see me?
Yeah.
I am a nightmare on Elm Street coming in here, and you're just coming in like you're like Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah.
I just
Cindy-
came to see you, and we all come in as the Grinch. Oh, what is this feeling? Yeah, it's true. This is such an AA moment.
It was.
Yeah,
And
I remember getting a hug from Glenn our first time, and he hugged me for like 30 seconds, and it felt like 30 years.
I know.
And I
That's
was
what
like,
he got.
What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Well, at that same meeting, I ran into a guy that saw Glenn his first meeting, and Glenn was in a wheelchair, and they just hugged on him and gave him a big hug and thank you for being here. I'm sure that guy felt the same way, the Grinch, man. I'm unlovable. We love you till you love yourself.
Yeah, and you don't get that when you come in.
No.
You're thinking, what's the angle?
Yeah.
What are they trying to get from me?
We're trying to save your life because we've been there.
Yeah.
We've been wheeled into that wheelchair going, I'm completely unlovable and I need brainwashing.
Yeah.
Because my brainwashing is I look in the mirror every day and I'm going, well, that is a scumbag. That's somebody that is not reliable. That is somebody that will look for any angle to steal and hurt for as long as it's for me.
That's right.
And I get the opposite in these meetings.
Yep.
And
I tell you that when I got through the four-step thing, I realized is I was able to look at people differently, and I was able to understand to keep coming back, keep it simple, don't put it before the miracle. Because I thought those were all refrigerator magnets people had on their fridge that didn't mean anything, and you realize now that you think there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and what you don't realize is you may be 3 steps away from making a turn.
exactly.
And you don't
That's
give
right.
up before. And sometimes it
That's
doesn't
right.
happen in your time.
That's right.
As I tell people, in sobriety, I've never gotten everything I've wanted, but
In
I've
my
always
time.
gotten everything I've needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how to make God laugh? Tell me you have a plan.
Yeah. Well, and I think back to 4-2, that plan, I know it's the first real tangible, and I know this is written a couple places, but it's the first real tangible step of the pen to paper. Like, 1, 2, and 3, there's conceptual and there's trust and
Right.
there's written work you can do, but the 4 really, it's your story now.
Absolutely.
Your story is really becoming real.
Yeah.
And if you have the guts to do that, go a little farther and you keep getting more and more of this relief.
You only have to
And
do
I'm
it
so
once.
lucky. Yeah, exactly. Right. I don't have to beat myself over this over and over again and realize I wasn't the only one in that situation. Other person was in that same spot. So,
I don't know. I walked out of my 5th as a new man.
yeah.
I mean, the pressure left off of you was better than any 10 shots of tequila I ever took.
Exactly. And how much? And how much did it cost you?
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I looked at the holidays with my family, and they drink pretty good.
Yeah.
They brought over probably close to $800-900 of liquor over
Isn't
to
that
the house
amazing?
for 4 days,
Isn't that amazing?
and there was no leftovers.
Wow.
And my wife and I are just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because even though my wife's normie, she'll have a glass of wine.
Sure.
But
she
that's it.
stops.
Yeah.
Colleen's had enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've relaxed, feels good, and that's it. she's seen enough liver patients to know what the frickin' what it's going in, dude.
As she says, if you have people that want to know what alcohol does to you, come to
Yeah.
her hospital and she'll show you what liver patients look like, alcoholics look like. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's not a pretty way to die.
Well, I think my idea here, I just thought of it, you know, I think they need to put a picture of that into the court cards. Would that help? No.
I
See,
think-
I'm promoting again, aren't I? So,
I
like,
think that what they should do is have a mandatory hospital visit.
Yeah.
Where you go through these wards of alcoholics and you could see this is you. But the problem is with
I know.
most of us, we're going to go, that's not me. I'm different.
exactly.
I'm different.
Yeah.
I'm unique.
Give this to the loser at the end of the meeting, not my court card. I come from a nice family, you know. I come from a nice father.
My court card is different.
My court card is different.
That's right.
You got sentenced by the same judge. He saw it just like
No,
like-
mine's different.
I always love that. Thinking I'm in jail. I'm the only guy in here for this crime, and the security guard's like, I put in 100 to you guys today.
Guess what? You're not unique. Oh, damn it. That was the only thing I was holding on to. See, AA won't work for me because I'm unique.
Yeah,
you're not unique.
What?
Oh,
what are you
damn
talking
it.
about?
All right. Well,
Step 4, baby.
Let's go. We'll go get the hell out of here, and then next week or so we'll do step 5
Sounds
and
fine, bud.
continue our journey.
Great seeing you, my
Hey,
friend.
great to see you. Happy New Year.
Peace.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Ciao.